Oh, welcome, Maniacs. We are a Saltier Podcast, Soundcasting Network's very own video game argument, where I don't know how to say words. Where your argument is
invalid.
Appreciated.
I'm going to listen to myself on my headphones so I stop getting confused. Yeah. So we're not here in Studio 1-2. We're all remote. And we are brought to you by Voodoo Ranger IPA. And someone want to tell us a little bit more about Voodoo Ranger, what you're drinking?
Voodoo Ranger. Right now I'm drinking experimental IPA. I will pass it to Loud and Brown because he's got the copy down, Pat.
Do I?
Yes.
Maniacs, they are B Corp certified and employee owned. Fantastic company. Big thanks to everybody at New Belgium, specifically Lauren. Shout out to Lauren.
SOS Sin Beer.
Yeah, I know. That's London's gonna send an email. London with a Y.
Got it.
Continue, Sage.
I'm Sage Bell. You can find me at Twitch and Twitter, Sage Bell. I stream Thursday nights on my own channel at 7 p.m. Pacific. You can also find me on Instagram at sagebell_model and other places with either of the username handles. I am also streaming on Saturday because it's my birthday. So please stop by on Saturday. I will be doing a day stream, so buddy over there might be sleeping. And let's go with Steve Jobs' #1 fan.
I'm gonna get you for that, Keith. I'm gonna get you for that. This is the Saverings ... You got to say the whole thing, like a Tribe Called Quest. Or like Earth, Wind, and Fire. You got to say the whole thing.
No one says, "Hey, you listen to Earth."
Yeah, like
listen to Earth.
Or people, like nobody puts it in an acronym. You got to say the whole thing. You can find me here and there. I'm kind of on and off Steam. I be trolling. I be lurking. I'm on Instagram, but I can't give up those digits because I be lurking. Hit me up on Twitter. That's at V-Gaming. That's also on YouTube's. And I have been posting some stuff sporadically here and there on my gaming channel. I'll probably be doing some kind of playthrough of Stellaris because I have some really, frankly, messed up ideas for this game now that you can spy on people and they've added an espionage system. Yeah, there's some really, really weird stuff you can do in that game now. So I've been looking into it. So if you're interested in that, let us know. Let us know where it would be most convenient to stream. Speaking of streaming, I'm also on Twitch, sort of here and there. I think I'm going to be primarily streaming on V-Gaming on YouTube, but in case you're interested on Twitch, I have Thanks Betwixt. That's my Twitch channel. That's about it. I mean, we're going into the details. Are we doing a round robin? We getting right to our guess? What are we doing?
I didn't say what I played, but you can.
Well, we can come back to it. I'd like to hear from Loud and Brown there. Besides that,
who are you? What are you doing with your life?
I know. Hey, Maniacs, Loud and Brown. At Loud and Brown on Twitter and Instagram. I am Gross Stuff with a PH on PlayStation and Steam, which I haven't touched in a bit because I don't technically have a living room right now. We'll get away from that. And I'm happy to be here. And before we introduce our fantastic guest, I want to make sure everybody is liked, subscribed, and followed to all of the many ways you can share time with the Salt Tier Podcast. Sage, how can people follow the Salt Tier Podcast?
I believe we're pretty much Saltier Podcast on most places, such as Twitch and Twitter. And if you search it all one word on YouTube and Facebook, I believe. But Instagram might be Saltier Pod.
Instagram and Twitter is Salt_Tier Pod. But like you said, everything else is just Saltier Podcast. Ooh, that's a weird accent. Why did I do that?
We're a little weird tonight.
You're from Minnesota all of a sudden.
Salty Podcast on channel.
I believe we are on most streaming platforms as well, such as Spotify, not Google Play because it doesn't exist anymore.
RIP.
I think it's like Google Podcast now or something like that. Whatever it is, we're on there.
Tinder,
yes.
I believe we prefer Grindr, but go ahead.
Oh, that's
And
what
then-
you say.
Yeah. And I believe, I think that's it. That's all I got.
I know, I'm blurry. And to the less blurry fellow, that's our guest today.
Or
Is he really though? Is he really the guest?
or
has a
the
face
super
now.
fan of Saltier podcast.
We got our super fan in today, folks.
hmm
What's
It's
up?
me. It's hawtrikkugirl16.
Otherwise known as Stoddy, what we call him in chat when we're yelling.
Howdy, Matt.
Stoddy too hottie.
And then on Steam, it's Taylor Swift.
Yep, it sure is.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Mhm.
and he even
That's-
has a Taylor Swift picture too.
Oh my God, is it spelled any particular way there?
It's the same way you would spell Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
he's stunning.
Stand for Tay-Tay.
He's trying to get free
great
games.
see. It's great to
She's
see when you go
sweezy.
ahead and kill people as Taylor Swift in like Destiny 2 or any kind of game. Or have people talk to you in Dead by Daylight and they're like, oh my God, are you really Taylor Swift? And I'm like, I'll just go ahead and roll with it for a little bit.
Mm.
Oh man, next time we do it, I should switch my name to some other random celebrity.
Oh. Be Carly Rae Jepsen.
Is she popular enough?
Maybe.
Yes.
I don't.
I mean, I know who she is, but she's also, I think, Canadian. So
But before we go on to the topics, hawtrikkugirl16,
Mhm.
where can everybody find you stream-wise and what days schedule, blah, 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 blah.
I don't stream per se. I just kind of hang out with Sage Bell on her streams, and I'm the voice from beyond.
Which is, when is your stream, Sage Bell?
every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and as well as this Saturday, time to be determined, but during daylight hours. I don't know what I'm playing either day yet, but I will be doing a get into cosplay beginning stream, just in case it's chaos. I can just put on my face, and I'm debating between my Birds of Prey Harley or figuring out where my Lilith cosplay is and putting that on.
Sounds like it would be fun.
Speaking of Lilith, I did play Borderlands yesterday.
Nice.
My out of the ordinary game for all the games we've been playing. Oh, and we played The Forest and we made Rogue be in VR. It's not that scary of a game.
Yeah, it's more of like a suspense type game, right?
hmm
Yeah.
As if you make a tree house, it's really just like you wait them out. You wait out the things trying to kill you.
Oh, you wait them out. Like, what happens to them? They get bored. They go away.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then you like rush to build a fence, and then they come back, and so you have to climb back up into the treehouse.
Spelunking is scary in that game.
I have control. if you have-
And you know, it usually is. That's one of the scariest parts of Minecraft is when you're playing by yourself and you're like out there like exploring some cave and you're running low on torches and you hear all kind of stuff like through the walls. You're carrying a bunch of stuff and you're just like, if I die right now, I'll be so pissed because I just spent like an hour digging around for shit.
That was me. I slid down a rope for like a solid minute, and I was just like, I really don't want to climb back up.
Mm.
And then I heard such scary voice at the bottom. I'm like, nope, I'm going back up. I'm spending another minute going back up.
Yeah.
You're like, "Arr," and you're like, mm-mm.
Not good.
Yeah. I've quit many a Minecraft playthrough that I played for like days because I fell in the lava and lost all my shit. Like while I was in a cave. So yes, it's scary.
You just rage quit it. You're
I'm done. Delete.
out.
Yep.
Any other interesting games we played this week?
I got back into Subnautica Below Zero.
Ooh.
Very nice.
It finally came out of early access, and there's a lot of extra things that they added to it. So it's interesting going back and revisiting all the things that I thought are going to be there, but they've been shifted around, and there's new areas to explore.
Nice.
And they added the
Is this Below Zero or the
Yeah.
or the vanilla one? Okay.
and they have that no ecology area in that one. They just added it, so you see the giant leviathans out there too.
I hate those things. They freak me out.
They're the giant shrimps now.
It's even weirder when you play it in VR and they're like literally in your face.
Ghost leviathans are the scariest thing for that game.
Yeah. You need to have you played that in your new VR? What's up?
I got it set up, but then I got the COVID shot for the day after I got my headset all set up, so I was just like down for like 2 days.
Oh,
And I'm just like, I really want to get this all set up. I know it works. I can see everything. It's just like the middle of my screen with my headset. I can't see anything. So I'm just like, I think there's some sort of resolution issue, or I'm still curious to find out what it is.
Huh. Well, there you go. All right. What you been playing? So Sage Bell, you already went over yours. So what you been playing, Loud and Brown?
Mute.
Loud and Brown.
I have not played any video games. I currently don't have a living room.
No stress.
That's where I mostly game. I just have my laptop in my room. I potentially could move everything here, but then I don't have a screen. So I'm just on hold. I'm reading a lot of comics and catching up. I've been watching a lot of video game content.
Same.
If that matters,
It does.
Catching up with the homies, and I have been watching Overwatch League, but only the teams that I like. I can't watch teams that I don't follow. I just don't care. When it's the whole crowd, it's actually fun to watch any team. Like in the crowd, there's fans of every team. You get this emotional response. But when I'm watching teams I don't care about and there's no crowd, there's just two announcers yelling, I don't care. But if it's the Gladiators or the Outlaws, I'll watch the entire set and everybody's having fun. I obviously haven't watched a single LA Valiant game because I'm still salty over what happened. And I feel bad for the players because the players that were bought aren't the ones that physically removed the old Valiant and took their jobs. It's the ownership that did that. And a lot of the players are getting a lot of flack, which is unfortunate because they're just, 19-year-old Overwatch players from China that are just trying to make a job out of it. It's not their fault. And it kind of sucks. It's bad. It's all bad.
Yeah, but it's about that money though. So
it is. So where are you getting your 10-cent tattoo, Saverings, ... Oh, sorry, Steve Jobs, #1 fan. Are you getting your 10-cent tattoo right under your Apple tattoo?
I'm getting my 10-cent tattoo in the 5th dimension once I figure out how to get there. If I can make it to the 5th dimension, I'll get both of those tattoos. How's that? Is that a deal?
I'll hold you to it.
Sold.
Okay.
And with that silly talk, let's go into the most shocking news I saw on our list for the week. Jeff Kaplan is leaving Blizzard.
Speaking of Overwatch.
It's our Overwatch overlord.
Basically.
Dad?
20 years.
I just really remember him from when he was trying to talk to Microsoft and Sony to get them to flat out ban all keyboard and mouse peripherals because the top 50% of the top 50% players were all playing on keyboard and mouse on the consoles.
Oh, on the consoles?
Yeah, and they were just like destroying so he was trying to get them to ban those like third-party devices to let you do it.
Have we ever, because we've talked about Overwatch several times, especially when we had the lovely Charmander. Have we ever actually talked about the division of...
You don't need to come in here.
Whoa. The division of PC players versus console?
Yeah. And I was there at Microsoft Game Studios when they were trying to do, what was that? It was a Shadowrun. It was a cross-platform FPS shooters on a 360 on games for Windows Live. And we had to try to balance those two games, and it was really weird, and it didn't work out either.
Okay. I mean, not so much about balance, but just with sheer numbers, which is why they obviously are catering toward PC. That's the one that's pro. That's the one that got all the experimental patches and stuff first. Like that's the one that the game is designed to play on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like something like Call of Duty where it's pretty evenly split. There's a lot of people that play that on console, and there's a lot of people that play it on PC. That's where I think it'd be more of an issue. And most of the weapons in that game are hit scan. hawtrikkugirl, can you confirm?
I can't actually. I don't really do a lot of
FPS
shooters.
I want to say that a lot of the weapons in Call of Duty are hit scan, or at least really fast projectile. So that is, I mean, playing keyboard mouse helps that kind of gameplay. If everything was projectile and like MOBA, you know, you could do it with a controller, and it kind of doesn't matter with the Twitch mechanics as much. But anyway, yes, him leaving is a big deal. Super big deal. Your Overwatch noted that he did not thank Blizzard in him leaving. He thanked the players. He thanked the people he directly worked with. And he didn't thank anybody above him. He didn't thank the company. He definitely didn't thank Activision.
No, he's definitely moving on to greener path. Well, at least to start his own thing. That's
you don't think he's going to Valorant?
No.
Okay.
No, he's not.
Why
You know
would
what
he go to
though?
Riot?
You know what? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Ooh.
Tencent was somebody's gonna throw him some money. Microsoft, Tencent, somebody like this is gonna throw him some
Yeah,
money.
Valorant is
It's gonna take-
Tencent.
Yeah. Well, Tencent could also just sign him on to just do what else he wants. I don't think he'd want to go over to theirs. I think he'd want to do something that he'd want to do, whatever that is.
Why are you barking?
Probably another hero shooter, or maybe like some kind of like hybrid MMO hero shooter type thing.
Overwatch's competitor.
Yeah, we will see what happens in the next coming months. We'll see if maybe the shackles are taken off and they try crazier things. There were talks that he held a lot of stuff close to the chest, kind of like this is my game, and certain characters got a lot more attention than other ones, and it was getting really obvious.
Yeah.
And some people, like in the YouTube video that we shared earlier, oh no, that was an IGM share. There's a YouTube video talking about it, and in the comments, someone was like, "Oh, cool, Pharah's finally gonna get a buff," and I was like, "What?" Like, apparently, he's notorious for not liking the gameplay style of Pharah, and he really likes Tracer and Diva.
Well,
Which
we
is
all
a
know
li-
Tracer.
Yeah, it's a little obvious though with those two, just how many costumes they get and whatever. But seeing him go is the end of an era. It's big news, you know. MOBA shooters is like a whole genre now.
Yeah. Shout out to Team Fortress, the original one, Team Fortress Classic, for kind of
That is
kicking us
very
all off.
true.
Team Fortress, and I'd probably say something like Unreal Tournament as well was like a forefather of all these types of things.
Okay.
Tribes, shout out to Tribes too.
Tribes. Well, cool. That's all I had for that. Anybody else got anything to say about Uncle Jeff, as they call him?
No, I just know he has said some really kind of off the wall things in the past. I look forward to him popping up with his own IP and saying some more off the wall things, and I want to see what he does while also saying more off the wall things. And that's it. And now he'll be free. He won't have his bosses and his bosses' bosses and the shareholders and the angel investors over all them telling him what to do. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does kind of on his own, see whose money he ends up taking. Is he going to sign with Microsoft because they're just throwing money around left and right because they got it like that? Is he going to go to Sony? Yeah. Is he gonna mess up and go to Sony or Epic? Is he gonna like sell out and go straight to Tencent? Like, what's going on? What's he gonna do? So I'm also curious. Or is he gonna stay independent? Like, who even knows? And like Bank of America will bankroll him or something. Who knows?
Yeah, we will see. We will keep you up to date, and I will let you know how terrible I'm doing at Overwatch because I'm kind of bad at that game, but I have a lot of fun.
And that's the point.
That is the point.
Yeah.
From
And I'm
having fun.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very communicative at the game during comp. I get a lot of shot caller little bonuses at the end, even when they lose. Like, at least this person was trying. It's like, how was he? He's like, he obviously can't aim, but he seemed nice and he yelled a lot.
I will say this for Overwatch. Out of all the games that have a casual to mid grade to like a pro level, Overwatch has like the smoothest transition between the two. The pro level is a completely different game than like a pub game or just playing around or whatever.
Sure.
But as far as like learning the basics, doing that, and then trying to apply it to a pro level, I think Overwatch has kind of the best stepping stones to that.
I can see that.
As compared to like a Dota or League of Legends, because those games you got to grind and you got to figure all that shit out. You have to do that too in Overwatch to get good.
I know. You also have to learn the move set of 120 characters.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Like,
and even a game like TF2, it gets very competitive, but even the competitive matches are still goofy and silly. So like that's to me, that's why that game like never like really took off on a competitive level.
yeah,
Even
it was very difficult.
It was difficult, but it was still very trolly. Like even the people that took it seriously never really like actually took it seriously.
Okay.
Type thing. So I will give Overwatch credit for that, and I like to see how that translates into Overwatch 2 as well. So I don't know where I was going with that. I just always noticed it about that game. He and the rest of the team did a good job with that.
I believe, Saverine, do you also have some stonks data for us?
Oh,
I'll make this short and sweet. We did report on the now former CEO. Hang on, let me pull this up. I have it here. How the now former CEO of GameStop, this is George Sherman. We reported about a year ago when this guy took this job, and we were all kind of like, okay, like for what that's worth, how long is he going to be there? 6 months, a year? How long is GameStop going to be there for him to be the CEO while we're talking about it? Well, this guy, he bailed.
wait, the guy that
stocks have gone up?
wait, the guy that replaced our boy?
Not Reggie. Reggie was just on the board.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they brought Reggie to the board of directors, and he came and went. He came and went too.
Continue. I'm sorry.
No, all good, because it's a lot of moving pieces with them. But basically what had happened was, so he joined last year. We kind of talked about it and kind of each put in our bets as how long we thought this would last. We all said about 6 months to a year, or GameStop crashing and burning, whichever came first. Well, he stepped down, and he will be gone effectively July 31st. I bring this story up, though, not because he's leaving and bailing GameStop, because, I mean, really, it's GameStop. Like, some people are going to ride it all the way down, but, anyway, when he first signed on, he got his signing bonus and he got his regular salary. But a couple months into it, they restructured everything because, it's a changing market. This is long before stonks and all that stuff. So they restructured his payout, and his part of his salary was based on stocks. And probably at that time, that stocks were worth like $9, $10. So that turned out to be very good, because in that time you've had stonks and you've had Wall Street Bets over there on Reddit.
$179 million.
$179 million that dude cashed out. He was probably going to walk away with like 20 or 30 million probably. But because of stonks, he's going to walk away with about $180 million.
That's pretty cool. He could buy a 1-bedroom apartment in San Francisco now.
Yeah, or a studio in Capitol Hill. Like, who even knows?
Now, here's the question. Is that store credit?
I know, right? Yeah. Think about how many used PS2s you could buy with that. But yeah. So I just brought that up because that's crazy. Like, he was already going to get a pretty sweet deal, even if it dropped down to like $5. He was still going to walk away with like 10, 12 something $million. But because stonks, he's walking away with almost $200 million. So that in America, folks, that's how you fail up. You take the job to be CEO at GameStop when that shit's like all the way sinking, and you walk away with $180 million for like less than a year's worth of work. That is the dream. That's how you fail up in America, ladies and gentlemen. So
rude.
Thought I'd share.
Cool.
How about that next topic we got there for you? Looks like Gran Turismo.
Yeah. This is a big one. We've talked about this on the show a couple of times, and I've talked about it with family and friends. Maybe some of you listening have talked about it, but it was always like, esports are getting big. Video games have always been competitive.
When's it ever going to get? Konami baseball game.
I forgot. It's in the
Powerful Pro Baseball.
I don't know what it's for. Oh, you're talking about Wii Sports Baseball?
No. Yeah, it's called Powerful Pro Baseball.
Konami makes some excellent sports simulators. Pro Evolution Soccer, that's the only game that halfway gives.
Is it a VR game?
FIFA
run for its money. I don't think so. I don't think anything VR would be
not yet.
Olympic level acceptable for a while. Yeah.
hawtrikkugirl16. Have you played either of these in any way, shape, or form?
I've played Burnout.
Burnout.
You haven't played any Gran Turismo? I find that highly unlikely.
Dude, those games are
they are very beautiful. I've seen a few friends play them, and they like to go ahead and just like modify different cars. And then the newest game that I recently kind of got a few months back was Need for Speed. I think it's Underground.
Not the same, but okay.
Yeah, that's the experience that I have in terms of like racing car games and Mario Kart.
All right, well, we need to change that. There's some excellent ones on the PC and on consoles. A lot of them are cross-play as well. This one's not because it's only on PlayStation. But to see Gran Turismo and an actual sports game, well, I'm not saying that auto racing is not a sport, but you know what I mean, like ball and bat and all that stuff, field. To actually see that be featured in the Olympics. Now, this isn't going to be like a gold medal event. This is part of an exhibition that's aside to the Olympics, but it is an officially Olympic-sponsored thing, and this could pave the way for something like that to be a gold medal. Like, I wonder what games they would use. If the Olympics were smart, they'd go to like a top developer and have them develop a fair and balanced competitive game and have it be free, so you can distribute it and everybody in the world can try it and try to get good at it and make a team. And that should be like the official, like, endorsed Olympic game that you get a gold medal in, and then have all these other games be kind of exhibition things until you can build up to that point. So this is kind of a big deal. It's being officially recognized by the Olympics. So I knew we would see this in our lifetime. I probably would. This is about 5 years ago. I probably figured I'd see it in the next 5 to 10 years. So this is ahead of schedule. I was thinking 10 years, like, more realistically. But
I think part of it is the pandemic has pushed it a little bit forward because it's something that can be done remotely. So
yes.
But they'll probably still do it at the event.
That's probably what pushed it up an extra 5 years. We probably would have saw this in another 5 years, but you're right, because of everything that's happened. Yep, they probably maybe already had plans, were already looking at it, and then now they decided to act on it since it's something you could do remotely. Yeah.
Just didn't think it would be these kinds of games.
Sure. And London just threw us a link, y'all. And according to Olympic.org, the other 3 games are a rowing game, a cycling game, and a sailing game.
Nice.
Except for when the weather's rough.
They need to do what's that one where you ski and you shoot things?
Biathlon, but
Yes.
that's winter only.
Okay, well, for the Winter Olympics, there needs to be like one of those. That'd be the cool one in VR with that little like thing you can move around in, and like the thing that holds your waist, and you have like a VR gun. Like, that'd be okay. That'd be cool.
Olympic Phasmo. Let's go.
Oh, let's go.
Ghost hunting.
Oh, you guys should know my kids are addicted to whatever the Roblox version of that game is. There's like a rip-off Roblox version of Phantasm, or whatever, the game that we were playing. Yeah, there's a rip-off Roblox version. And it plays identically, and my kids like play the crap out of that game and they love it.
Well, the game is kind of made off like a base Unity model, essentially.
Yeah, but I mean, like, all the mechanics and all that stuff. It's just in the Roblox little blocky guy version of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
You
yeah,
want to tell us about AT&T there as well with some Rooster Teeth?
this is something I knew, and then I forgot about, and then it surprised me when I read this. Rooster Teeth sold out to AT&T, and I was like, oh wow, AT&T owns Rooster Teeth. And I thought about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I did read about that. This was a couple years ago, maybe 2014, 2015. I want to say.
Someone want to remind us who Rooster Teeth is?
And right there, that's the sad part, because 10 or 15 years ago, pretty much almost anyone who knew anything about video games, you might not have known who they were, but you saw their work. Remember, they used to do those EA NFL commercials for Madden, and they used to like do like voiceovers, just kind of like just what they did with Red versus Blue.
I was gonna say that's the one thing I know them for is Red versus Blue, and that's how we found out about Monty Ohm.
Yes, who would later do Ruby.
Rip.
And yes, who passed away tragically. It's been a while now, you guys. Like, what, like 6 or 7, 8 years now.
Yeah, Halo versus Metroid, and the thing I like the most about him, wrong arm, Dead Fantasy, which is the Dead or Alive character. I know, I'm trying to show my Final Fantasy VII tattoo. Look, yeah, but Final Fantasy characters versus Dead or Alive characters with some of the best choreography that looked better than Dead or Alive and Final Fantasy cutscenes, and made, just put them in their place. And it was a dude in his bedroom.
Yeah,
he didn't even have a team.
That's how he got the job with Rooster Teeth. So yeah, they used to do Red versus Blue. They used to do these really, really cool old Madden commercials. Go back and Google like Madden commercials from like the mid 2000s was when they were doing them. Really, really good. Ruby, a bunch of other stuff. So yeah.
Anything else you'd like to add, hawtrikkugirl?
Yeah, you got any Rooster Teeth memories?
I did cosplay a character from Ruby called Adam.
We did.
And I recycled that cosplay for like years.
Wait, which one was Adam? Adam was what's her name's like former like boyfriend, but he's like turned evil, right? He's got like the red hair and like the red pants. Yeah, and he fights with a sword. Yeah, that's the one that cut what's her name's arm off, right?
Yeah, cut off Yang's arm.
Spoilers.
It's fine.
At this point, it doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count. Ruby's like a couple years. Like,
Oh, okay. It's
while
the
up.
red-haired guy with the masky thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that was like your profile photo forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And now the Ruby characters are in Eunice, the anime fighter.
Nice.
BB Tag has
Well,
people from like all of the different
That's-
games, and they
that's-
have the Ruby cast in there.
That's
Yes.
the one we played. I played that on the free fighting game weekend, and I reported about it here on this show. And it didn't want to recognize my controllers, and the menus were all weird, and I couldn't even get into the game. And then when I finally did, it was like super pixelated, and I was just like, "What is this?" I don't know. It was a weird version on the PC, and it didn't want to accept my controller either. Which I thought was strange.
And
But yeah.
yes, Mark Sumner, you are correct. Dead Fantasy is very, very cool.
Yes, but anyway, let me wrap up the story so we can hit the break. But basically, looks like AT&T is looking to offload and sell Rooster Teeth. So I'm wondering who's going to pick them up, if there's any takers, because as of right now, Rooster Teeth's kind of a dead franchise. They're not really known for much that they do that's new. Ruby was the hottest thing that they had going, and that kind of ended kind of unofficially when Amonte Ohm passed away.
Mhm.
And not really too much going for them. They did have Funhouse, who was formerly Inside Games over at Machinima, and they left and went over to Fun and created their own thing, was Funhouse, and that was a big channel for a while. And then those guys left and formed their own thing again. I think they went back. I think they got the naming back of Inside Gaming, and then those guys broke up. And which is weird. I've seen Bruce from that show twice in real life, and the last time I saw him was at Disneyland in California. And I looked at him, and he looked at me like you know who I am. And I was like, "Oh shit, you're Bruce," but I didn't say anything because he was with some people, and I was like, "Eh." But I've seen those guys twice, and I've seen Bruce twice, and it's weird because I think he recognized me because I think he saw me before. Anyway, that was weird.
One of those where you're like,
Yeah, he's like, "I've seen you before, but we don't." What? And like he was waiting for me to come, I guess, say something. I don't know, but I was just like, "Eh." So we could have had Bruce from Machinima and Rooster Teeth on our show if I had ever gone and said anything. I bet if I emailed him or DM'd him, he probably would remember me because we've seen each other twice. So yeah. But interesting to see where Rooster Teeth ends up. If somebody does end up buying it, what are they even going to do with it? Are they going to try to bring Ruby back? Maybe. Anything like that. So keep an eye on that. That could be an interesting buyout. My money's like on Tencent or maybe Microsoft or somebody like this buying it up. I don't know. That's about it. You want to take us to the break, someone?
let's do your break. This has been something by a podcast by the Soundcasting Network, and we are sponsored by Voodoo Ranger IPA,
Yes, we
a
are.
B Corp employee-owned beer.
Yes.
And not
Delicious.
even our hot Riku girl also came in with some beer.
I did. I got the Captain Dynamite IPA.
How are you enjoying the hoppiness of it?
I am not too much of a beer person, so I'm kind of enjoying it so far.
They make beer for people who don't necessarily think they're going to like beer.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Quite true.
Yeah. And if you like beer, you'll like it that much more.
It's true. And if you are in a state that has Drizzly, you can typically get it through the Drizzly app.
Yeah. I'm waiting to see it at Costco. Come on, Voodoo Ranger, make it happen. I would love to pick up some Voodoo Ranger from Costco. That'd be awesome.
I think you just got to hit up the right Costco.
Get a pallet of Voodoo
Yeah.
Ranger.
I want the 48 pack, please, for like $9. Thanks.
My mom was talking to me how she likes to get her vodka at Costco, and I was like,
Yes. That is that's the spot to get your booze.
I mean, I guess if you need like cheap booze that burns your soul.
No, they got some top shelf stuff there. I'm telling you. Yeah,
All
you'd
right.
be surprised.
The more I refuse to go near Costco because it kind of just is too many people all the time.
It's a lot.
Pre-pandemic.
It's a lot.
But that cafe, though,
Yeah,
Oh, hard pass.
you got to go in there. No, the cafe's bomb, and you got to go in there for the premium stuffed olives. They got the big ass jar of premium stuffed olives. They're delicious with garlic and jalapenos in them.
I apartment dwell So Costco doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me, which is unfortunate. Because
Well, what's something?
Because
What's something that you eat a lot, or that's like a staple?
tofu.
Yeah. So just go get like a big ass thing of tofu and like not buy tofu for like a year.
Yeah, but then you'd have to freeze it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mm.
They probably have freezer tofu at that point.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
We get the only thing we ever get at Costco is usually our friends make a trip and we're like, can you get us the salmon burgers?
Yes, those are fire.
Those are like the best salmon burgers I've
Yes.
ever had.
Those are good. Yeah, we had some of those too.
And we're connecting the dots. Cooking Mama. There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Overcooked too. There we go.
Overcooked too. There we are.
And I know most of you probably played Castlevania.
Oh,
In some form, you've had to have. It's had to at least cross your plate. Like maybe you passed on it, but you played a Metrovania or you played something similar, which is kind of a pass. So if you played like what is that one game, Bloodstained, or if you played anything like that, if you played a Shovel Knight, even that's close enough. So yeah. So what we got? We got a new Castlevania game in discussion with Sony and Konami. This is only coming up because this always comes up. Everybody's like, "What's Konami doing with their IPs?" Because right now, Konami they kind of tapped out from video games. They still own all these properties, but they make pachinko machines out of them. So you got Silent Hill, the pachinko machine. You got Metal Gear, the pachinko machine.
It's huge in Japan.
Which is fine.
Southeast Asia in general.
But
Isn't
all
that
but
the,
all
like-
these. What's up?
Isn't that like there's like the digital, like you can win the toys and they actually send you the toys? Or is that something else? Am I thinking of something completely different?
All I know is this isn't playing through my video game playing system and like right into my eyeballs on my 144 hertz screen. So none of this stuff is counting for me. So you're sitting on Castlevania. Can you just hand Castlevania over to like Platinum Games or something and let them do something with it? You're sitting on Metal Gear. Can you just lease that to Kojima and let them do something with it? I would have rather seen another Metal Gear than Death Stranding, to be honest with you.
I'd love to see a new Suikoden game.
Boom. Can you hand that to like level 5 or something and like let them make that? Yeah, or hand it to Square Enix and let them make that something. Yeah. Just sitting on a lot of IPs. So this rumor is just they're in discussions with Sony to make a Castlevania game, which has also been a rumor that they've been in talks with them to make another Metal Gear, to make whatever else they own.
Maniacs, I would hope that all of the buzz from the anime would have made this a little more popular, right? Like a little more hype.
And it did. You're right. Part of that anime is like the momentum from that is part of these talks. Yes, for sure.
Pardon me. Your favorite company.
You having a stroke over there?
Oh, my left wrist is, because you and Tim Cook are trying to get into my head.
It's telling you to buy a new one because it's about to be obsolete in like T-minus 6 seconds.
Oh.
It's gonna brick with the next update. Gotta get the new one.
Got him.
Yep. So out of all these properties Konami has, what would you guys like to see them do with it? Would you like to see them lease it out to somebody else? And if so, who? Hit us up on our Facebook page or anywhere else that you see us or happen to be watching us. How about here in the chat? Do you have a favorite Konami IP? Would you like to see something with it? Silent Hill. Who would you like to see make it?
Who would I like to? Capcom.
Okay, I kind of walked into that one.
Yeah.
You did.
Look who you're talking to.
hawtrikkugirl, favorite Konami IP?
Besides Castlevania, Dance Dance Revolution was a good one.
That's an excellent one. Who would you like to see make that?
I don't know.
It sucks that Harmonix isn't around.
Mm-hmm.
You know who I like to see make it? The people that do Friday Night Funkin'. If you gave them like an actual IP instead of like them making their own up, which is actually kind of good. But if you handed it off to them and they could do some kind of crossover between those two games, like that'd sell like 1 billion copies.
Oh,
They own Frogger?
Yeah, that's a Konami game.
What?
Yeah. They own a bunch of stuff. These are just the ones I'm thinking of off the top of my head. They have dozens and dozens of like classic IPs. Remember Rygar?
yeah. I will say one thing, and this is a very, very specific thing about me growing up in Hawaii in the arcades. But Konami and Bemani got together and made the arcade Initial D games,
Yes.
which were some of the best racing games and also the most expensive.
Yeah.
Because
I
if you
remember those.
won the race, the game was still over. Your
Yeah.
dollar only got you one race, and you put your card in, and it logged it down, and you got points, and you could modify your car.
Crazy.
So it would actually cost you $50. Oh, I think $40 minimum, because there are 40 races in the full game to beat the game. $40.
That's insanity.
It was so fun, and it was really well made though. Like
But
the
you know what
seat
though?
and the shifting. Oh my god.
That was Konami's like first foray into like and I think before that they did make like other amusement type stuff, but I think that was like one of their first ones. Like, oh shit, we can make a lot of money doing this. We don't have to be making video games all the time. So yeah, that might have been one. $40 to actually beat the game. Yeah, guaranteed. That's pretty crazy. The machine paid for itself multiple times.
That soundtrack though, so great. It was like, you know, the same people that did the Initial D anime. It was Bamani. Yeah, with a partnership with Eurobeat or whatever. So just it was the second wave of techno.
Yeah,
You know, late 90s, early 2000s.
Shout out to the Simpsons game, which was also Konami. Shout out to the first couple Ninja Turtles games, besides the ones that were made by Ultra back on like the Nintendo. Those were all Konami games, including the really underrated. What was that fighting game they had on the Super Nintendo? We talked about this on the show before.
Oh, we did. That was Konami, huh?
Yeah, that game was pretty sick. The Justice League fighting game, that game was kind of sick. So yeah.
Konami's got a lot of good stuff out there. I think out of all of my friends that are currently playing games with a bit of nostalgia, they could live out a lot of it through Smash Brothers and playing vintage games that give respect to the games that came before it. But the one IP I hear people want the most is Silent Hill. People want Silent Hill so bad.
Because it's been a while.
Yeah.
When was the last one? Like PlayStation 2?
There was something on the Wii.
Okay.
The last thing that I think they did was let Behavior work with it for Dead by Daylight.
Yeah. It's in Dead by Daylight.
I think that's the latest Silent Hill news that I can recall off the top of my head.
But like a proper Silent Hill game. I don't think there's been one since like PS2.
Homecoming, maybe?
I don't know.
Yes.
I remember The Room, and then after that was Homecoming. That was like on the PS3.
Okay. Was that on the PS3?
I want to bet money on it.
Okay. I think I remember seeing like some like tech demo or like
You gonna
picture
bet
of it or something.
We don't have to bet money on it. You're going to bet free games on it? You and Savings?
PS3.
Oh, he already got hooked up. Oh yeah, you didn't tell the people what games you got in your VR library there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the newest games that I got.
You got quite a VR library already.
I got Moss. I got Star Trek. Oh, what's it?
The Bridge?
Yeah, Bridge Crew. We definitely got to play that. Sage Bell, do you own that game?
I do not.
Okay, we got to get you a copy because we got to play that.
Okay, I'll wishlist it.
Okay.
Very easy to just. I'll put on the wish list.
Yeah.
And then was there another? I just remember those two.
Oh, it was hang on. I gotta look.
Oh, there we go. There we go. You got to put that thing backwards. Now we're all good.
Yeah.
Now you're cooking with gas?
Now I'm cooking it. Now
Oh,
I
and
look
Euro
like
Truck Simulator 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stoddy. Now I look like I'm ready to play some Ultimate.
Yeah.
Let's get some Ultimate. 3 o'clock, bro.
And before that you had Elite Dangerous, and you can play that in VR too. Even though that's like super unwieldy in VR. I wouldn't suggest it starting off.
I could also do Hellblade.
Yeah, I played that a little bit in VR. That's pretty trippy. It's very graphically demanding. So even on my PC and with the reverb, which is like the highest DPI, blah, 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 blah. Even with that, it still came out kind of pixely and stuff like that. So it's more of the experience, and the experience itself is really amazing. I can see why that game won a lot of awards, especially for sound design and especially for just like the atmosphere of it. They did a really good job with that, but the graphics in it. So to temper your expectations on the graphics, they're still solid. They still get the point across. They still look good, but they're nothing compared to like how the rest of the game is, at least in VR. So it's a good one. So yeah, Euro Truck Simulator. Definitely get a steering wheel and do the full experience with it.
Get a proper trucker hat too.
Yeah, get the mesh hat. I don't know how that would fit with your VR, but
You just put it underneath.
Yeah. Get like a USA shirt and like tear the sleeves off while you're doing it. Yeah. Moss is excellent. I've talked about that several times on the podcast.
And to switch over the topic, because I have no way to segue this one because I was looking at what it was. Loud and Brown's got some music off YouTube to talk about.
What?
Sonic.
Sonic?
He's muted.
Sonic or Sanic? You muted, bro.
Sorry. And hopefully London pulls this up in a little bit. I think we're going to have audio. This is, in pure Loud and Brown fashion, not a headline, but just something that's kind of been running around in the gaming scene for a while, and more people are starting to figure it out. I play music in the city of Seattle, and I think we're going to cover a track from Sonic 3.
Nice.
Yeah, and then we went and looked it up, and damn thing's already been done by one dude, and he did all of it.
I didn't really know the music from Sonic 3 as well. I didn't play that one all that much.
I didn't have access to a Sega.
No Genesis?
No Genesis. I had a Saturn.
Ooh, Saturn was dope. Sega screwed that all up.
All right. Thank you, London with a Y. So the reason why this is important, and this only came out a couple years ago, like less than 10 years ago, co-producers and other engineers in the game confirmed. Do you know who helped write Sonic 3?
No.
Michael Jackson.
Oh,
really?
It was a rumor for years, and it turns out contractually, if he used his name, his record label that he was on would have to get a cut. And at the time, video games were, small potatoes. Like, they couldn't afford to have him as a composer. There's no way they could have afforded that. They would have to give all of their money. So he did it. He did it uncredited.
This is more proof of that close relationship that they always had. Because remember, they made Moonwalker, and then wasn't he a character in Space Channel 5?
And he was also in Ready to Rumble Boxing as an unlockable character.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
He couldn't put his name down, though.
Yeah.
It was the artist, or it was the King of Pop, or the King.
That was Midway, though, right? Did Midway make Ready to Rumble?
He worked with so many different games. Anyway, that said, the next link I have is also related to this. This is one thing that we're missing from cons that we haven't talked about. And I'm going to wrap this up because we got to get to talking about a movie that came out last week. But yes, I miss games. Yes, I miss cons. Yes, I miss getting wasted. But if you go to conventions, specifically
get wasted.
And going to the Voodoo Lounge, the Voodoo Ranger Lounge, where I got awesome beers. But there are also gamer concerts, and it's not just the rave, because Sakura-Con has a rave, but specifically PAX did concerts at
BlizzCon.
Yeah, and BlizzCon. But at PAX, specifically, they got geek bands like the Protoman, like Onomonoguchi, like Megaran, like Bit Brigade.
MC Frontalot.
MC Frontalot has been there since over a decade ago, And
I have a picture with him.
It's a whole subgenre that doesn't really play the normal venues here in Seattle when they tour. One of my favorite chiptune bands called Infinity Shred, they played a pretty small venue. But if they played at PAX, it would be massive. For example, the Protomen, when they played at PAX, had to play at the Paramount, and it was packed. But when they came non-PAX, they played at a venue here in Seattle called El Corazon, which I don't even think.
That's so small.
Yeah, it's like what, 400?
Well,
Maybe?
barely. Ew,
Yeah.
I don't even think you could. I think it's like a 200. Like, it's a teeny venue.
It's more than 200, that's for sure, because I've definitely played there a couple times. And
It feels like 200.
yeah, because it's wide, it's not very deep, right?
Yeah, it's
Balls.
super shallow.
Phrasing.
But geek bands, and I don't know if London could pull up a video of the Protoman. They're one of my favorite bands of all time. They're all music conservatory students from Nashville, Tennessee, and they could have been studio musicians. Instead, they wanted to be a Mega Man themed band.
What are they called? The Protoman?
The Protomen.
Would you
And
like
then they
that
got a
video pulled up?
letter. And then they got a letter.
It's the next link.
Yes, thank you. And then they got a letter from Capcom, and they were like, "There we go, end of the ride, everybody. Here's our cease and desist." And it was an invitation to play the Tokyo Gaming Show for Capcom. Capcom loves them. And look, they do a whole Blade Runner meets Mad Max post-apocalyptic thing. It's not soundtrack music. They made all original songs about the Mega Man lore. And look at that crowd. That crowd. And this is over a decade. Well, this clip is from 2019. Who knows when the concert was? But they were way in the vaporwave and 80s.
COVID decade.
Before then, you know, one of my favorite bands. Dive into it, Maniacs. Definitely dive into the Protoman. I love them so much. And that's all I have to say on that topic. What I'm saying is the gaming conventions are more than just gaming. It's this whole thing. And this is one of my favorite parts about PAX. And I miss cons so much.
Give me that con.
I need to get that con.
Isn't Seattle
Thank you, London.
Like a area where there's like a lot of underground music?
Where now? I'm sorry?
Seattle? For
What
like
about
underground gaming music?
There is that. You know, I believe Fighter X is from Seattle, who's a pretty popular chip tuner. And they do little chiptune pop-ups all over the city because apparently... And Maniacs, we've explained this on episode maybe 20 or episode 10, but we are now at episode 121. Chip tuning, I don't know, hawtrikkugirl16, Savings, what's the best way to describe this?
You ever play Nintendo or Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis? You know the music that's playing in the background? That's chiptune music. Without going into like the technical details of it, the limitations of the sound devices at the time, you couldn't play like fully orchestrated blah 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 CD quality music, so they had to do little beeps and bloops on little keyboards. Yeah. So you know when you sing Mario Brothers, wait, that's Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Mario Brothers, that's chiptune music. That's the short slang for that synthesized, really lo-fi type of music, made famous by the 8-bit and 16-bit console. So basically, your Nintendo, your Sega Master System, your Sega Genesis, and your Super Nintendo.
And Game Boys too. Game Boys got a very particular sound. Yeah.
And your Game Boys. Yep. So any kind of music, when you think about those games, chiptune.
Castlevania, Metroid.
Yes, all of that. Definitely Google it. One of the people to bring it to the forefront helped do a little bit of this. They did the intro for the Scott Pilgrim movie, and they did the soundtrack for the Scott Pilgrim game. It's Onomonoguchi. They're notorious for being a 4-piece traditional rock band that has a person on stage with an NES. And Maniacs, this is hard to explain, but you don't just hit spacebar like you do as a DJ. That's not how chiptune works. You have to sequence the sound card of the machine. So when that part of the song is done, if you don't press something, it'll just keep looping.
Yeah.
So when you're done with the A section, you have to sequence the next part to the next part of the song. So someone has to actively chiptune. You can't just play it.
Have you guys ever used Fruity Loops or whatever the Apple equivalent of that is, when you're kind of like playing it in like sections? You have to program out like the different Mario Paint. You ever seen the pictures, the videos where people make music in Mario Paint? Because you can have those blocks that all play like a different thing. Or
that's right. That's actually a great example.
Yeah, they've also done it in Minecraft when you make the music boxes. Depending on what records you put in different boxes and different sequences, you can actually play like little songs and stuff. Stuff like that. So you're just basically sequencing it out. You do it in sections, and when it hits the end of the section, it'll either repeat or go on to the next section that you've already sequenced in, like Loud and Brown was saying. So yeah, kind of like that. What else we got? Are we talking Mortal Kombat yet?
Yeah, I mean, we're coming up on that time.
Outro's Mortal Kombat.
Sorry, yeah, I had to mute. I was getting
good.
a weird call. I
Keith
think
the
I
Boogie.
ate my dinner
Keith the
too fast.
Boogie. I got some graphics that'll go with it. I'll share it on up there. You tell London. But basically, we're going to be talking about Mortal Kombat. We're talking about Mortal Kombat here. This is the newest version. Hang on, let me see here. Is it letting me select this? Okay. And don't look at the scores because scores these days don't really matter. I'm just using this because I thought it'd be fun to compare this version to the 1995 version.
Yo, Grandpa, can you zoom in on that, my bro?
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
There you go.
Yes.
Thank
sorry
you.
about that. So basically, don't worry about these. Don't worry about it affecting your liking of the movie. You're either gonna like it or not. It's fine either way. It's a Mortal Kombat movie, so whatever. Have fun with it. So basically, I brought this up, and without going into too many spoilers, because people haven't seen the movie here in the podcast, and some of our listeners who haven't seen it. Right now, you can watch it either in the movie theater, or you can watch it on HBO Max. That's where I ended up watching it. I watched it with my kids were in the room. They were playing games on their PCs and on other devices, and I put this on. And when I put it in front of them, that kind of gives them the idea that, okay, this is sanctioned, like Dad's watching it in front of us, we can watch it. So they were kind of like watching out the corner of their eye, and they're kind of looking, and they ended up just much like episode 1 of The Phantom Menace, they ended up laughing at this movie more than actually like sitting down and watching it and enjoying it and laughing with it, if that's any indication. And this is 9 to 11-year-old boys. This is like the target demographic sneakily for this movie. This is for adults, but this is really for 9 to 11-year-old boys, really. So they ended up kind of laughing at it. They were kind of taken aback by some of the violence in it, even though they played Mortal Kombat, so they know what's up.
Yeah, it was far less gory than the game.
There was a couple parts in it though, where I was like, "Ooh, sweet lord!" But
for reference, and I don't know if hawtrikkugirl16 knows this. I'm pretty sure he does. But the original '90s Mortal Kombat movie was PG-13. So if you compare the two,
you mean this one?
Yes, vastly different violence between the two movies. Like this was very rated R. Like it was at times you were like, this doesn't seem that violent, and then they let you know that this is a rated R movie. At least every 15 minutes they kind of reminded you.
But then we got the Metacritic over here for what these websites are worth. I just thought it'd be get out of here. I just thought it'd be funny just to get like a comparison between the websites back then and now. So this is Mortal Kombat now. This is Mortal Kombat then. What an 8.2 user score. Look at it on Rotten Tomatoes. It got a 57. What's the deal? Is it good or bad? Make up your mind. Oh, look at that classic Christopher Lambert.
Because when you need a Chinese god, you get Christopher Lambert.
Well, because they were trying to like introduce this to like mainstream audiences. They need somebody who's familiar. You can't just jump all in. It was the 90s, man. Video games, movies were like relatively new. Video games were relatively new. So
that's true.
Yeah. But guess what? They had an Asian dude playing Raiden, and this one didn't make a damn difference. So
yeah, they had great casting. I thought they had amazing casting in the 2021 Mortal Kombat. I can't think of anything that was miscast.
Sonya Blade, probably. She was awful.
Okay.
She was.
Are you sure it's just not how the character's written?
No,
yeah, I mean,
that was just bad acting.
I don't love her in the NRS intros. She's funny, but it doesn't.
It was just horrible acting.
I mean, is Sonya Blade even like an exciting character, or is she just the generic blonde character in the video game?
I'm talking the art of acting. I'm talking the skill of acting. She was not good, regardless of who the character is, how it was written, all that stuff. She wasn't written very well either. Like none of them really were. It's Mortal Kombat. Like you don't watch and play Mortal Kombat for the writing.
I think that the opening scene in the movie is really cool.
That's the best part of the movie, to be honest with you.
And then when it finally connects was really cool. And then there's the middle of the movie.
Yeah. Which is most of it. But
I like the movie overall. Like it's a very enjoyable movie. That's just how you can easily be like, oh, here's these compartmentalized.
I would say this, and I said this before the show. If you like the first one, the one that came out in the 90s, you'll like this. Because what this movie is the 90s version if it had time traveled and they made it in 2020. That's exactly what this is. It's the 90s version. So like all the same 90s tropes, the same 90s acting, all of it. It's there, but it's like modernized. They got like the more modern music. They got the more modern CGI and such. But it's still like at the end of the day, it's that same movie. So you'll like it. The other one's a classic.
And
I
did some investigation with London with a Y. I don't know why I closed this, but the actress that played it comes from a comedy scene. She did a show, Packed at the Raptors, and she did Sirens, which was hilarious. It was actually really, really good.
Which one was Sirens?
Sirens was the one about the ambulance, like paramedics, but it was a comedy.
Okay.
So it was all this terrible stuff happening around, and they're making really light out of it. And it was. I know that sounds dark, but it
sounds good actually.
Jessica McNamee is a comedic actress, and
she
happens to be in hella shape, so they threw her in this. And
you know what? Then that would kind of make sense. Maybe she was hamming it up, cheesing it up on purpose. And if that was on purpose, that was brilliant. So
yeah, I thought that this movie had a little bit of camp, which is why I liked it.
Yeah, but like maybe she was camping it up on purpose, and if that's what she was doing, she fucking nailed it. So
she was the compliment to Kano, who was obviously camping it up. I think hers was a little less obvious, but it was still camp. I liked it, and I guess that's our closing statement, right? We're gonna say like it, not, or
to be determined.
Yeah,
to be determined.
Maddie, you need to watch it so you can get back on here. We got to hear your opinion.
I just know the beginning's going to be great. After that,
did you like the '90s one?
Yeah.
Okay, then you'll like this one.
Before I go into a coughing fit, my friend that told me to watch it gave the best description of it ever, and I will continue and say it. It is Unga Bunga action movie fun. Don't go into it expecting a deep story or like to really encase all of the lore of 11 games, because we can't.
I would say how you felt coming out of the original one when you first saw it. Go into that one with this one.
Sure, that sounds about right.
Yeah, and you won't be disappointed.
And I have been Loud and Brown and Instagram and Twitter. I am GrowStuff with a PH on Steam and PlayStation. NRS games are still kind of trash though. Going to Saverings ...
Hi, this is the Saverings. Check me out on Twitch and Twitch is Things Betwixt. YouTube is V-Dash Gaming. Hit us up on Steam at the Saltier Podcast Group where we give out free games. We finally got Hot Riku Girl here, and he can contest that we do in fact give out free games. So hit us up on there. We have a list of the games that are on the side that we play. If any of those are of interest to you or you want to play anything else, hit us up and I don't know, join a stream or play something multiplayer. Like I said, I'm going to be playing some Stellaris. Stellaris is a completely different beast multiplayer. So if you'd like to play that or even get to learn the game, it's fine. We can just jump in and play. If you get trashed, that's fine. I get trashed in that game sometimes too. And that's about it. I just be lurking. I'll see you on the Steam group. What's up, Sage Bell?
Well, you'll catch me on Twitch Thursday night and Saturday at some point, 7 p.m. Pacific on Thursday, where we play cooperative games with another person called Rogue Dragon TV. And we don't know what we're playing yet, but we'll do something that might make me scream. Unsure, undetermined. And over to you.
This is Hot Riku Girl16, the super fan of Saltier Podcast. If you want to find me on social media, you just have to look up Hot Riku Girl16. If you want to find me on Steam, just go into the Saltier stream group, and you can find me there as Taylor Swift. I'm the only one.
I can't believe that you're the only Taylor Swift on Steam. Like, how'd that
There's
happen?
a few other ones, but like if you're trying to specifically find me, you'll only find me in the Saltier.
Okay.
In the Steam group.
Yeah.
He's plugging our Steam group.
Yeah, he's in there. 43 members last I saw.
Ooh,
And
gotta
you'll
get
see
that
me
fitty.
on Thursday and Saturday playing with Sage.
Nice.
Very good.
That's all we got.
All right.
That is all we got. We'll see you next week.
Maniacs, remember to like, subscribe, share, drink Voodoo Ranger. Thank you, Soundcasting Network, for having us. Thank you, London with a Y. Thank you, super producer, taking a double deucer seducer, Keith the Boogie. I can't believe I said that without stuttering. Did you hear that?
He's stuffing his face right now. I see him.
Oh, okay. Super tight. And remember to like and follow everybody here so you can be more in tune. Give us some topics. Jump in the chat. Twitch has been popping. I think that's the new jam, right, Sage Bell?
Yeah, if y'all can throw your friends at us and get us to 50 followers, we are very close to getting our affiliate.
Woo!
Nice.
I'll stream on a couple extra days once we hit 50 followers just to get
Nice.
that
Woo!
icing.
All right.
I think that's it. This has
Yep.
been a production of the Soundcasting Network. Thank you.
Silence.